At the age of 23, I found myself on a military airplane, one final flight of my deployment, preparing to head home. Home, the world I left behind for almost 11 months. My family, my friends, my son. As our plane soared over the mountains of Afghanistan and Iran toward the deserts of Kuwait, I couldn't wait to be home. The flat farmlands of Vermilion County, Illinois, hugging my son. I felt my stomach lurch as the plane took a sharp turn. I watched my battle buddy snatch a barf bag and go to town. It got real quick. In the back of the cargo plane, 12 of us was trying to figure out what was going on, with absolutely no communication from the pilot. This was more than normal turbulence. The plane was rocking and swerving and vomit-inducing patterns, and I briefly wondered if after serving my country for 11 months, separated from my unit because it needed my skills on a special assignment, working long hours, now that I was on my final journey to end my deployment, if there was a chance I wasn't going to make it home at all. I thought back at all the moments and decisions that had led me to this very moment. The Army recruiter came to Danville High School regularly to promote the benefits of enlisting after graduation. It wasn't something that ever caught my attention. I was not a typical high school junior. Instead of playing sports and joining after-school activities, I got a job at the local county market. My brother and I was raised by a single mother. She worked hard to make sure we had what we needed, but there wasn't money for little things like the school book for prom. So if I wanted a cell phone, it was up to me to pay for it. But one day at lunch, my friends started talking about choosing the Army as a career path. To be honest, the opportunity of getting college paid for was appealing. One friend was seriously interested, so to support her, I took a leap of faith and took the ASVAB. I was still convinced I was only there to support her. It was only after I received my letter of instructions to report to boot camp, I found out that they had backed out and I was the only one that made the commitment. While everyone was enjoying their summer being teenagers, I was a basic trainer. Waking up at 4 a.m., doing confidence courses, going through the gas chamber, learning how to fire a weapon. Many nights I laid in bed, thinking, why the heck did I sign up for this? The Army is very diverse, so we have people from age 17 to 35 from all nationalities, but the expectations are the same for everybody. During one of our basic training exercises, we were completing a ruck march, hiking 3 miles wearing a bulletproof vest with heavy rucksacks strapped to our backs. After we completed the march, exhausted and dripping with sweat, they conducted a surprise inspection. We found out that one of our battle buddies took a shortcut and removed the plates from her vest to make the hike easier. I guess she thought the rules didn't apply to her, but because she tried to cheat the system, we all got punished. 30 of us had to drop and do push-ups until our arms gave out. We learned very quickly the meaning of one team, one fight. Everyone learned a lesson that day. There's no shortcuts in the Army. There are no shortcuts in life. The friendship or bonds you create in the military are unmatched. You don't find those kind of friendships anywhere but there. We went through so much together. I didn't have a phone to call my mom, no snacks, no television, etc. I had no choice but to build bonds with these strangers and embrace the suck. If you ever heard that the military isn't a place for women, well, I felt it. I constantly bump heads with my leadership because I would point out that they would let my male counterparts do things, but I was told something different. I never felt like I had the correct support or guidance to advance my career. I had to advocate for myself. You know, all those benefits they talked about when a recruiter came to the high school? Well, no one shows you how to take advantage of them. And if you don't apply for certain funds or benefits at that time, then you lose them. My career was stagnant for a very long time. I honestly thought about quitting. Then 7 years into my military career, I was told I was going on mandatory deployment. I had to leave my 3-year-old son for almost a whole year. I thought of 1,000 reasons why I couldn't go, but none of it was valid besides fear. My mom and my son's dad took great care of him as I fulfilled my obligation to my country. I deployed in February of 2020, and shortly after, there was a little pandemic, if you recall. I was stuck on a small military base in Indiana for the first part as we navigated the lockdown. We finally flew into Kuwait, and for a moment, I thought this was going to be a fun adventure for these girls I bonded with for the last 7 years. Boy, was I wrong. I was singled out to go on a small Air Force base for an assignment. I worked 7 days a week, 12-hour shifts while going to school online. It turned out to be the best thing for me in my career. Since I was in such a small group, I volunteered for majority of the work that came in. Would you believe me if I told you I operated a forklift and a rough terrain container handler in 140-degree weather? So I worked in a central receiving point. I got awards and coins for moving the most pieces on my deployment. I even got Soldier of the Quarter. I was so proficient at my job, my first sergeant received a phone call telling him to send me to Afghanistan to do the same thing. If you watch any type of television or news outlets, you know the negative reputation that Afghanistan has. I was scared. I couldn't tell my friends or family until I was already there, so I didn't put myself or others' life at risk. I completed my mission, and I certainly discovered that the country wasn't as bad as people make it seem. The food was actually good. After our plane from Afghanistan landed in Kuwait, the pilot then revealed to us that we are at risk from being shot down. That's why the flight was so bumpy. After months of hard work and sacrifice, there was a chance that we would not have made it home. We finally left Kuwait on Christmas. We landed in Germany on Christmas. Then we flew to Charlotte, North Carolina, and it was still Christmas due to the time change. So yes, we got 3 days of Christmas. I was able to land in Texas safely and surprise my family on New Year's Eve. Today, I am a staff sergeant in the United States Army. I have learned great discipline and patience. I was able to finish my master's degree, fully paid for. And now I work as a social worker at Carl Foundation Hospital. And 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, I report to my base in Illinois for duty. Because I advocated for myself. Not only did I get my education paid for, but for my son too, who just turned 8 years old. He can go to college and is completely paid for too. I use my experience to be a great leader to soldiers under me. I teach them how to use their benefits for school. I teach them how to apply for their VA disability. I educate them on their rights as a soldier. I want others to have a better military experience, so I chose to be the leader I needed when I joined 12 years ago.